What's up, everybody? How are we? I'm here with Ian, the commissioner of Sweetwater. Ian, thank you so much for being with us.
It's an honor to be here. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, yeah, Ian. So, we've been friends for a little bit now. I was able to see you as an FIU student, and then you became a commissioner in Sweetwater. So how was that running for office?
Um, it was a very interesting experience. Definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done. It took a lot of work, a lot of spending the day knocking on doors, talking to strangers, and having to speak in Spanish, which wasn't my strength, but definitely got better at
But you
Spanish
still
with
make it
it.
work. But you still make it work.
Yeah.
And what would you say what was the hardest aspect of it? Do you think like how it was for your family? Do you think how it was just like getting out of your comfort zone? Like what would you say was the hardest part?
That's a tough question. I mean, because a lot of things were hard about. Yeah, definitely getting out of my comfort zone. I was always a bit. Uh, I was always an introvert,
Hmm.
so like this really helped me get out of my shell and transform me into, I guess, sort of an extrovert in a way. But really, it was really hard on my family because we had a baby, and then my wife was pregnant during the campaign,
Yeah, yeah,
and my second child was born in the middle of the race, so that was very
yeah. Juggling all that
difficult.
stuff.
Yeah, so like me not being able to be home to support my wife and my children with
Okay.
everything because I had to run, I had to make this happen because in the end everything will benefit them.
Right, right.
Me having this position to make the city a better place makes it better for the residents but better for my family.
As well.
So my wife was willing to make a sacrifice, and I was very grateful for it. And she really held down the fort while I
Oh
was
yeah,
out there knocking on doors and
yeah,
raising money.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Like tremenda mujer, because not everybody
Yeah,
could do something like that.
and it wasn't easy, man. We had some moments, but we pulled through. And I'm sure that everybody that run for office can relate.
I think the biggest thing is kind of like going from a private life to like a public life. How would you say, have you ever had any like public instances where you were like, man, like this elected official stuff, it ain't it, or was it like adversity facing that situation because maybe it wasn't so private, you know what I mean, like private versus public
Hmm.
when you're an elected official?
Um, Definitely it was a bit of a big difference. You know, I always kept to myself, and I didn't go to too many things before.
Hmm.
I had a very small circle of friends, and I didn't do much. I just worked, spent time with family.
Yeah, yeah,
Occasionally hung out with some friends here and there. But now I'm going to all these events and meeting high up people. A lot of these people are people I looked up to as a kid.
right,
So
right.
now I get to mingle with these people, and
Hmm.
now these people are, a lot of them are my friends now, and it's very surreal to
Yeah,
walk in a room and realize I'm elected now just like these guys. I get to rub shoulders with these people, and it's a surreal experience, like to be where I am. And I'm always, when I have these moments of serenity and those
yeah,
moments where
yeah.
I'm in a room with all the most powerful people, and I'm like, wow, God is good, and He's really gotten me
To be in
somewhere
this
that
position.
I didn't expect to be.
And then you brought up how you were always introverted, and
Hmm.
obviously being an elected official makes you meet people of all different
Yeah.
backgrounds. Now, do you think that it's like that you were like chosen to do this, or like what was your calling to run for office? Like what made the switch in your head that said I wanna be an elected official? Because obviously it comes with a lot of eyes, it comes with a lot of baggage, it comes,
Hmm.
because you picked up the baggage from the guy that had your job before,
Hmm.
you know what I mean, and you have to carry that forth.
Yeah. Um, it was a bit rough. Um, but so not sure where to start there, but um, my background, I was just always like you said, like I said, very introverted. Not It was a different person before.
Hmm.
Not in a bad way, just I, but I always struggled.
Hmm.
You know, socially. I always had social anxiety. I'd go to a place and there'd be too many people, and I'd just panic, and I'd
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
go to a corner and get away from everybody. It was just wasn't my thing. But in school, I always excelled in the social studies. I was always drawn to that. I always
Yeah.
had this desire to make a difference, to make society, to try to do my part to make society better. And I was always a history geek, reading about our founding fathers and the amazing things that they were
Yeah.
able to accomplish and heroes throughout our history. And so that stuff fascinated me, and I just wanted to do my part. I wanted to going to the military was something I wanted to do because my father was in the military. My stepfather was in the military. I wanted to serve, but I couldn't because of health reasons. They wouldn't let
Hmm.
me join. So I figured I'd find another way to serve. And since my fascination with history and the social studies, I started. I decided, all right, I'm going to go to FIU. I'm going to study political science. What else should I do? Okay, I'm going to go intern in Doral and then Sweetwater.
Oh, nice.
You
Like in the
know,
local government there with
yeah,
councilmen.
yeah. I interned very briefly in Doral, and then I transitioned over to intern in Sweetwater, which proved to be a very rewarding
Smart thing to do. I
experience.
mean, shit, look where we are now.
I interned for State Representative Dave Barrero.
Oh, nice.
He was
Yeah, yeah.
the grants administrator of the city at the time. So I interned for him. I had met him at FIU, and he invited me to come intern with him in the mayor's office, and I never looked back since then.
Commissioner, I have to say one thing that I just loved about what you did now is that you were extremely vulnerable about who you are. Because I feel a lot of elected officials, even some of my
Yeah.
clients, they pretend or they are this person that they're not really.
Hmm.
And I think so many people can resonate with that story of, you know, I was full of anxiety. This is something like where your mission is so much more than your, at the time,
Hmm.
inability to feel comfortable in this
Yeah.
social setting. Like, you pushed yourself because you said, hey, man, I want to do this for my community.
Hmm.
I really feel like I'm in a
Hmm.
position where I could do it. Maybe I don't have the best tactful way. Maybe I might not be the, at the time, the best suited
Hmm.
to do it, but it's in me.
Yeah.
So I definitely commend you for speaking to that. And, you know, I just feel like so many elected officials will at least advertise. Because there's obviously, one
Yeah.
thing of campaign trail, getting votes, to
Hmm.
who you really are.
Yeah.
But I love that regardless of where you are, you have found who you are and you're like
Yeah.
marinating in it.
Exactly. I don't like to pretend to be somebody. I don't like to act or anything. I'm an open book. I'm myself, and I'm just gonna do everything I can to improve on myself.
For sure.
You
Oh
know.
yeah. What would you say is something that's been challenging as a commissioner that maybe you didn't expect before you won your election? Like maybe an expectation that you had of being an elected official before you became one, and then when you got there, you were like, "Oh wow, what the hell just happened here?"
Well, it just plays off of like I just had to, you know, like we mentioned, I just had to transform as a person, make myself better, do everything I can to get out of the social anxiety box and become more sociable if I wanted to make a difference because I
Yeah.
was just driven by the desire to do something good for my family, for society, and because I'm also a man of faith, so I felt
Hmm.
this calling to do this, even though part of me didn't want to do it. Part of me was scared.
Okay.
So
Like hesitation.
yeah, I'm not a good speaker. I don't like being in public. I don't like talking to people too much. But you're asking me to do something that is completely opposite of who I am.
Oh yeah.
How do I do this? Like, yeah, I like that stuff, but to go there, it reminded me of Moses.
Okay.
Like, he was like, "Yo, God, why'd you pick me to do this? You know I can't speak. So it's like
But he
I'm
still
not
led
comparing
people
myself
to.
to Moses, but
No, but
you know,
I love the parallels of the story
yeah,
because you know and it is something where, and just going back to my point of elected officials will never talk about their weakness.
no,
They'll never tell you, "Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that." But I think that there is such a human thing. You
hmm,
telling us, like, man, like, my passion to change motivated me so much that even with
yeah,
my self diagnosed
yeah,
shortcomings, because I'll be frank with you, like yeah, you vote like as an elected official compared to others, you're a little bit more quiet. But I would have never, to be frank, thought that you had social anxiety in any which form out of from what I've seen you in the commission meetings, how I've seen you at these events. So you've definitely
Yeah.
come a long way if you're telling me that you felt that certain angst when you were in these settings. And dude, you're in these settings all day
Yeah.
long. Like you literally stay in, like whether it's the food drive, whether it's your diaper event, whether it's working in commission meetings, because I can imagine that you deal with a lot of different energy.
Hmm.
Like there are people who are come up to you like, "Oh my God, thank you so much, Commissioner," but then they're also like, "Commissioner, what the fuck?" You know what I mean? Like, so how do you deal with the different kinds of constituents and the different scenarios, both like really positive ones and then like really aggressive ones?
How do I deal with it?
Yeah, like how do you feel in those scenarios when you have like a constituent like up in a commission meeting just popping off?
Well, I learned a lot about how to deal with people when I was starting to go to college. I got a job working in the movie theater in Dolphin Mall,
Hmm.
and I had to deal with a lot of people, a lot of complicated people, that weren't happy with certain things, and they'd vent on me, and I had to deal with that.
Of course.
So now as a commissioner, I'm there again, just in a different capacity.
Yeah, because also
Um,
them not getting popcorn
yeah,
versus their taxes,
yeah,
the social services, the trash pickup in the city, the police
yeah.
force, so many different things. Like obviously, you impact people's lives in a way more meaningful way now. So what are some of the things that motivate you as a commissioner? What are some of the things that you're working towards?
Things that motivate me as a commissioner, like I said, to do whatever I can to make my community a better place for everyone, for my family, and we have a great team in Sweetwater. All my colleagues on the commission, our mayor, our city employees, everybody really knows what they're doing. We have an excellent, great team with a great work ethic, and it just motivates me that to see the things we've accomplished and the things that are in process, and to see how far the city has come in a few short years.
Yeah.
That's really
So
motivating. And that people are happy when they call or they email or they say, it's like, hey, I love that you guys did this. I love that you guys did that. This hasn't been done in years. Thank you. They see the difference. Even people who live outside of the city are like,
mhm.
they see Sweetwater changing. It's not at all what it used to
Oh,
be,
completely. Like,
you know,
when did you graduate FIU?
2019.
Okay, but that was with your.
No, bachelor's.
Okay. Damn, man.
What?
How old are you?
Well, I'm only 32.
Damn, yeah. Damn, yeah, super
Well,
young, bro. So
yeah.
when I graduated, I remember seeing Sweetwater. Like that was when I believe you and I went to school at the same time.
Yeah.
Where the only thing was Fourth Street Commons
Mhm.
and 109 Towers.
Yeah.
Now you have Identity. You have the one in front of 109. I don't even know what it's called. The one.
The one, yeah.
The one.
The
Okay.
one, and then there's the Lapis.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, Lapis is the one next to the one, to the right of it. Well, I guess to the west of it.
Oh.
It looks just like it.
Right,
It's
where like
just-
109 Burgers.
Well,
No.
on 109 you have 109 Tower,
Right,
and
right.
then you have the one, and then to the right of the one, to the west of it, is
Mhm.
Lapis.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like in what like 5 years, the amount of this student housing and the amount of development. Like, dude, like you have high rises in Sweetwater,
Yeah, we have a skyline.
so you just have so much diversity in such a small
Hmm.
area. Because Sweetwater is what like a couple zip codes, right? Like it's like
Yeah, we only have 2 zip codes, I believe.
you see what I'm saying. So like the and just the people that live there have so much range, a predominantly Hispanic community, and you have old, you have young, you have a lot of international because of FIU. So how would you characterize Sweetwater, and how was Sweetwater before? Where do you think it's going to be in the future?
Well, it even with those buildings coming in, Sweetwater hasn't really changed much. It's still a working class neighborhood, mostly Cubans and Nicaraguans and now some Venezuelans.
Hmm.
And that demographic hasn't changed. It's just there's just an increase of students living in the city. And so we have to be careful in the city how we navigate that. Because sometimes the residents don't like that all these students are coming in and parking everywhere. So you have to navigate that and
Oh,
enforce parking. and they get worried. So we have to kind of like develop smart in a way that doesn't take away people's family homes, keep
Right.
the buildings, the development areas in a certain small area, and not try to take
Spread it
away.
all
Yeah,
across.
yeah,
Now, that kind of brings an interesting point of like residents' interest versus like the student interest,
yeah,
and especially that you have a lot of people in Sweetwater that have been living there for years,
yeah.
but then you have all this influx of international students of so kind of like what I was talking to you about earlier, the whole like pro college town, anti college town. Where do you stand with FIU? Because obviously FIU is our alma mater. I know you have love for FIU.
Hmm.
I know that FIU building into Sweetwater helps with the taxes, helps with the property
Hmm.
value of all the properties in Sweetwater. So what would be your position on pro college town, anti college town? And you brought up that point of smart development. Is
Hmm.
that smart to be pro college town in this environment, or is it something where maybe you would want to go a little bit more not south? What is it? East. There you go. Like you know what I'm saying? Like on the other side of 107th,
Hmm.
because Sweetwater goes before 107th. No, like it's not just 107th
Yeah,
and
it
up.
starts at 102.
There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There wouldn't be any development on that side.
Hmm.
That's all strictly single family residential over there. They are building some new houses in at the end of the city, right on 102 and Southwest 7th Terrace.
Hmm.
That was a vacant lot there with some old, very old structures that kind of look like barracks. I don't
Hmm.
know what they were, but nobody lived there forever. So, building some new houses there. It's nice houses. Um, but call it the college area. We call it University City. Actually, we just changed it recently. It's now the University District.
Hmm.
It's confined to between 107th and 109th, and it has like a U shape between 109th to 107. So not even that entire area is
Hmm.
buildings are allowed there.
Right.
You
So it's
know,
kind of like the U would be like 107th. Well, 109 coming down now because I know that they just
just
are building up. That's massive now,
yeah,
new high rise on the other side of
yeah.
the new building for FIU, and then coming down right to like Identity, and then back
Mhm.
up to Fourth Street
Mhm. Yeah,
Commons.
that's it. Yeah.
So do you foresee because obviously just from you changing it from um university like square, what did you say,
It's
university,
University District.
right now it's
Because
university
when we
district
called
level.
it University City, it confused a lot of people, and they thought we were trying to
Yeah.
change the name of the city, University
Ah.
City,
Yeah.
and people residents weren't happy. So the mayor and all of us, so we decided, hey, let's change it to just the University District
Yeah.
to be more accurate and also not scare everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Because
sure.
people don't want to just get developed out, gentrified out by the
For
university,
sure.
and also all of these buildings are not only student housing. That some of the newer ones include what's the term for?
Like single family.
Yeah, you don't have to be a student to live there. Anybody can live there.
Right.
So it's opened up.
Mixed. So it's mixed housing.
Mixed housing. It's opened up. So
Yeah.
other people can live there as well. It doesn't have to be just students.
Yeah. But Sweetwater has seen a lot of changes through the years between the infrastructure. You guys have fixed like almost every park in Sweetwater. So what has that kind of process been? Is that something that you're hearing from the voters? Is that something that you're hearing from the community that they want this fix?
Yeah, it's both. It's something that we've seen. I've seen with my eyes uh, the condition of the parks, and they needed to be renovated. They needed to be made new, upgraded. They were just in poor condition. We even had a park that was closed forever for no reason. Um, um, and then while I was, visit residents, that one of the top complaints is the parks. We need to fix the parks. And
Yeah,
so,
because you guys have a bunch of because, like I said, like Sweetwater is like a very dense box,
yeah.
right? So and you have the linear park, which I think is super cool. How you have it
Hmm.
right around the wall of the water, and you have other parks spread out. Um, And then what I loved was the community center
Hmm.
where
Yeah, the George Macanosa Youth Center, Jorge
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Macanosa Youth Center.
And it was so cool seeing your 4th of July event because I really do think that people that live in Sweetwater do stick together. Like they really do come out to these events that you guys have. So
Yeah,
there really is like almost like an identity in Sweetwater
yeah,
that I would say comparing it to other local governments, other kind of municipal cities in Miami-Dade County isn't really felt.
hmm yeah. Sweetwater definitely has a small town feel to it, and people get along and people work together and do events together, and we're grateful for that in Sweetwater. You
Yeah.
know.
A So in terms of passing laws, passing ordinances, working with commissioners, how has the government changed as your time as commissioner? Because you've been commissioner for how long now?
Going on 3 years now.
3 years, right? So
Yeah.
you've already gone through a re-election, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So it'll be coming soon.
Yeah, a year and a year from now.
Claro, claro. So, but you've obviously seen the commission change.
Yeah.
So how is it working with different personalities, working through disagreements? How do you work with commissioners to get these projects approved? Because obviously these decisions don't happen unilaterally, right? Like
Hmm.
there's a vote, you have to work as a team together.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Exactly. Everything that's accomplished is a result of teamwork, team effort. There's not. It isn't all about one person that does everything. We all come together and contribute what
Mm-hmm.
we need to get everything done. Because we're all on the same page. We need to improve the city in all the different ways. We need to improve the infrastructure, the parks. We need to help residents that are going through hard times now because of the economic conditions. We need to do all of this, and so we're all on the same page, and we're all working together toward the same goal. And we have a mayor who came in with a drive to make this happen, and so we're very grateful for that.
Yeah, and I'll just say, just from going to your commission meetings and seeing other governments, right? Like if you compare this to like a city of Miami, like you guys are way more unified than in some of these commission meetings where you'll have commissioners almost brawl with each other. You know what I mean? So, what do you think a is the difference maker in Sweetwater that has you guys so unified versus other governments where people are just more territorial, a lot more egos in play?
Hmm.
Because I will definitely say one of the cool things about the mayor is that he seems so like in tune with his community. Like he's not driven by ego. Like I see other mayors and I'm like, dude, this is just a photo op for you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, so how do you guys make it work?
I'm still trying to figure that one out, but I know, in these other cities, I know that a lot of that chaos is driven by ego. They all want to be the big guy that runs the city, without naming any names, But in Sweetwater, we just don't have time for that. We don't play that game. We just see something that needs to be done, and we do it. Because we're all working class people. None of us are rich or come from these affluent backgrounds or any of that. We're working class people just like our residents,
Mm-hmm.
and we're looking out for them, and we just want to make the city better for them. Sweetwater already has a history of that kind of stuff happening in the past.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of in the past corruption and scandals. I think in 1993 the entire commission got arrested. Yeah, it was chaotic. Different mayors being arrested and all of that, and we just wanted to turn the page from that.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years, we've got an entire new commission from what we had before, and I think that's a result of the residents. They are tired of all of that, so they started electing new people that were not driven by the same things that people in the past were driven by. So I
Yeah.
think it's part of the residents just voting smart.
I think that's so interesting because that obviously we're talking about a municipal, very very small district compared to the rest of the United States.
Hmm.
So that same feature of the residents tired of like the same old politicians is what's happening on our national politics, right?
Hmm.
Like the whole Trump versus Biden, and I think that's why Trump, regardless of all of the controversy, right, people still love him so much because he is no bullshit. Like he's the guy that wears a suit every day, but you don't think he's a suit.
Hmm.
Most people when they think about a politician, they think about this kind of mysterious, shadowy figure that's a snake charmer that can meterte cuento.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Behind closed doors, almost like raw steak in a mafia table setting at the back of a restaurant, business dealing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the
Yeah.
aesthetic that people feel when they think of politician. But you're right, in Sweetwater, nobody like all you guys have day jobs. All you guys like
Yeah.
obviously have another thing. Like this isn't like your main source of income. This isn't something where. So, what do you think are things in our national politics that affect you on a local level?
National parks that affect some local level. Okay, well, when they're passing all these, when they're raising taxes and interest rates and making decisions that impact gas prices and everything, and that all of that trickles down and affects us. Our residents, they don't. Our residents are not rich, so when you increase the interest rates, when you increase their taxes, now they have less money in their pocket and they therefore struggle more. So all of that stuff, all the decisions they make up there, cost our residents more money and give them a harder time. And really, that's just not right. And then, you know, they're always trying to police the world and go to war in different places in the world. And when you do that, it impacts where our tax dollars are going, and then they need to take more of our tax dollars to do this, to do stuff around the world. It doesn't really benefit us at the local
Right.
level.
Because at the end of the day, Sweetwater receives funding from state of Florida, but also federally.
Yeah.
And then and it's interesting because a lot of people just don't understand, and either we weren't taught it, and it's also not a very sexy topic of how the federal government funds cities, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, I can totally see it, right? They're trying to send all this money to Ukraine. They're trying to send all this money out of the United States,
Hmm.
but then when it comes down to financing the infrastructure, building these roads,
Hmm.
upgrading the parks and rec, and the social programming, you as a commissioner so much more constrained.
Hmm.
But then you're gonna get the blame for it.
Yeah, exactly. Because people don't really because it's all very complicated. Every level of government has a certain tax on it, but people all see you as the government, and they see all the taxes. They think it goes all to you. You're the entity that takes all their money, and then we have to kind of explain. No, no, no. Look, we only take a little bit of the property tax. That's it. The county even gets most of that,
Yeah,
and we even lowered our portion of the property tax that we received for the first time in 7 years. So that's one of the accomplishments. When I ran, I promised we'd lower taxes for you guys, for the residents of the city, and we accomplished that. And previous commissions for the last 7 years can't say that, but we did
yeah.
accomplish that, and I'm proud of that. That we were able to alleviate for our residents what we could. But then it doesn't help when the federal government
Just compounds on
keeps,
it. Yeah,
yeah, when the federal government just keeps getting us into all these messes all over the world, and just mismanaging the our taxpayer money. So we just gotta do our part, and we can speak up to the federal government. We could speak to our members of Congress and tell them, hey, our people are struggling. Chill out with all the stuff you're doing.
hmm
Um, give us try to allocate more money from the federal budget to local projects. And the government does put out money out there. On my private side. I'm in the grants industry.
yeah.
I have my own grants company, and I write grants for various entities to help improve, the conditions. And there's a lot of infrastructure grants out there, but you have these infrastructure grants are spread out throughout all 50 states.
Right. They're not just
It's
always
it's
gonna
not,
be in
and it's
the.
competitive, so not everybody gets, and the ones that do, it's not enough. There's too many old, outdated bridges and roads and highways, and everything needs to be brought up. Infrastructure is too old and antiquated already. We need to step it up, and the federal government
Yeah.
is the only one that has the power to do that, and they're just not doing what they should be. They're spending more money overseas than they are here, and I think that's pretty sad.
So who are you supporting in the presidential election this year?
Well, as a municipal official, we're supposed to be nonpartisan, and I do my nonpartisan thing. The issues are different, but you know, we got to look out for the people, and we've seen two administrations side by side.
Right.
We saw the Trump administration, from 2017 through 2020, and then now we've seen the Biden administration. And you just have to look at it side by side. When was the economy better? When was gas prices lower? When was inflation lower? When was when were things pretty good for everybody? People were having a good time. The economy was doing well. People had their jobs, were making good money. They didn't have to empty their bank account on their gas tank,
Yeah.
And then look at the stark contrast now. How high inflation is, how high gas prices are, how many people are unemployed, and it's just it's an obvious, it's a
Night and day.
no-brainer. It's
Yeah.
night and day. It's a no-brainer. You've given two guys a chance to be president, and one guy excelled, and one guy's done a terrible job.
Yeah.
And so it's obvious to me, I think Donald Trump is the guy. We got to give Trump a second chance to come in there, clean house, get us back to where we were in
Yeah.
that time, with the economy thriving, with the America being respected on the world stage again.
Yeah.
We got to get back to that. It's really sad what we've seen happen. We have a guy in the White House now that is not even mentally capable. And I'm not saying this was, people would treat that as a conspiracy theory, but now a general counsel, what's it? No, not a general counsel. What is it?
DA?
A special counsel
Right.
released a report that said basically that they were going to try the president for having these documents in his garage next to his
Right.
because he's too old and forgetful to be tried for that, so they're going to let it go. But so he's too old and too forgetful and mentally unfit to be tried for a crime. But it's okay for him to rule
The
this
country.
country.
Yeah.
It's okay for him to have the nuclear football.
But he's the guy that's forgetful. Right. Of
Yeah.
course, like, it helps you in this situation, but it doesn't apply here.
This guy is not fit to be president of the United States, and they need to. The Democratic Party should not be renominating this guy, but they're going to. This guy should not continue being president. They should do the 25th Amendment or something on him. He's not fit to be president. So it's sad that the United States is the hegemon of the world, the most powerful country in the world that shapes everything that goes on in the world. We're supposed to be the most respected country in the world, but when they have this guy that's unfit to be president, it's just sad. It makes us look bad. It's really we need strength. We need a leader that is strong and it's gonna get the people, the world, the nations of the world to respect these guys. Because look what happened. This guy comes in the White House, and all of a sudden, Russia invades Ukraine, and then China's threatening to invade Taiwan, and then the Hamas decides to attack Israel.
Internationally, things get destabilized.
It was like you took Trump out, and you opened up Pandora's box, and the world is going to hell in a handbasket all of a sudden. When Trump was there, all these crazy world leaders like Putin and Kim, they were in check. They were afraid of the guy. You could see when Trump met with Kim, you could see the fear in his eyes. The guy did, was like, yeah, I'm not gonna mess with this guy. I'm gonna cool it with the nuke talk. I'm gonna stop threatening everybody in the world with my nukes. But now what's he doing? He's doing all that all over again. So this Trump, people didn't want to mess with him. People respected him because he was unpredictable, and I think that's a good thing. We want to have a leader that's not predictable, because then if he's predictable, our enemies are going to know what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
I
think the thing that being a young voter, being somebody who definitely growing up identified as a Democrat, right? Like Obama over here, you know what I mean? Like, and I still love the tan suit, by the way. Like, I still think that, man, nobody can talk that tan suit. That's okay.
It was nice. It was a nice suit.
But my thing is, I think the one biggest issue now in the country on a national level is the whole border crisis. I was working in Arizona, I'm working in California, and the amount of people that are undocumented coming into this country that are just, the moment they get here, I'm talking about getting food stamps and Medicaid, I would know because I qualify those people to get a free tablet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just seeing this influx of where our money is going. So I definitely feel, and look, I'll be honest, I like Trump's policies, but I definitely hate the controversy. I would want my president to be like more like chillaxed right? And that's why I feel like DeSantis had such a great opportunity because he was supposed to be that, like, we're America first, but I'm more composed. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The border issue, and this is where I want to pick your brain a little bit. Why was it? Or why was it that when Trump was talking about building a wall, everybody had a heart attack? But now everyone's like, we need better. You know what I mean? Like, now the story is cities like New York, cities like Chicago are like, you need to fix this illegal immigration. But man, Trump tried to do that years ago.
Mhm.
And you called him racist. You said that he couldn't do that, that it was a human rights violation to build a wall. Like,
Yeah, like we have an issue. Too many people are coming over the border. Do something about it. Okay, let's put a wall. No, we can't put a wall. That's racist. That's basically their argument, and just really, it's sad. But first, I want to say, my father's from Honduras, so I'm Honduran American. My mom's Cuban, so a lot of the people that are coming over the border are from Honduras. So it breaks my heart to see all these people that are struggling and having a hard time trying to come to this country for a better opportunity. But I know also that there's more at play. There's certain people that are putting these caravans together and sending them to the U.S. and we don't know who's behind that and who's making that happen. Why are so many people suddenly coming at the border? And I understand that we need to be humanitarian and we need to help people, but it's just too many people coming in, and you can't just have a wide open border and let everybody in. Would you have your house all the doors open and let strangers come into your house and with your family there instead of? No, you wouldn't, right? You lock your house up, you have locks, you have cameras, you have a fence maybe around your house
to protect your property, your assets.
And then this country, they think, let's just have the border wide open. We have a lot of enemies in the world. Let's have the border wide open and let everybody just come in. And then it's not just Hispanic. It's not just struggling people from these neighbors to the south, Latin American countries coming in from Central and South America. It's not just those people coming in, but you have drug traffickers, human traffickers coming in. You have terrorists from the Middle East and other places in the world that are taking advantage of that to come in. They go to Mexico and then they come in, and there's reports. I don't know what the numbers are, but a lot of people are coming from those areas with bad intentions. They've caught some people. So really, we definitely need a wall. But a wall has gates.
Yeah.
A wall has an organized way of getting through it, and that's what we need to do.
Asylum-seeking process.
We need to vet all the people that are coming in. Hey, who are you? Why are you coming in? Are these your kids, or are these kids that you're trafficking?
Yeah, you don't have no idea. They literally, it's catch and release. Like, you come to the border, you get put into the detention center for 2 days. And this is what's a little frustrating for me. So I'm about to vent a little bit. When you're on a plane and then they say, in case of emergency, put your mask on first, and then somebody else's. We are definitely having no oxygen, putting a mask for everybody on the plane except for ourselves. And we're just here, and we are the passenger America, right? Just holding their breath, like going blue in the face from all the money we're spending. So I definitely agree with a America first. We need to solve our problems before we take care of y'all's problems. I'm down to help. We're down to be, and I hate saying the international police force, but the emblematic policing body, which at the end of the day, the world has become a better place with America as its hegemon, right, at the hegemony. Now, dude, when I tell you, just from like my experience, illegal immigration is going to affect the marketplace, the work, right? None of these people pay taxes. On top of people that don't pay taxes, you're taking our tax money to give them health care and food stamps. Bro, you have single moms who don't get food stamps because they got 2 jobs and they make just a little bit more than the income qualification. She needs the help, right? Then you have, and then look at my home poquito, because this is where I'm bending a little bit. Dude, I pay everything. I pay my health care. I pay obviously all my food, all my bills, and I get no help. And then I pay the government large sums of money around this time of the year because this time of the year yo me cago un poquito. I'm like, oh my god, because I'm 1099, which is probably a whole other podcast of why that's dumb. Um, but you know what I mean? Like we're giving out all this money, but the people who are American, right? Because I feel like there should be a priority. Like just because you're in America doesn't mean you're American, right? And that doesn't mean that you should be entitled to all these resources. Like I feel like my tax dollars should go to Americans because I pay tax dollars to America.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Like I was saying, tax dollars go to benefit those who contribute to the taxes. You know, that's the logical way it should be. You give your part, you get your part. But we do have a lot of this country does have a lot of money, and that's a good thing. And we can help some people, but the sad reality is we can't help everybody.
Yeah.
And we need to know who's coming in to our house.
For
Who's
sure.
coming, everybody needs to be vetted. You can't just let everybody in. You don't know what's coming in. You got to be careful. And we want to help people, but like I said, you can't help everybody. The best way to help everybody is to help them in their country.
Definitely.
That's the way it is. So we got to help their governments get in better shape and better condition to help them and create better opportunities. And
Yeah. Commissioner, I want to move a little bit into what I think is honestly one of the coolest events of any elected official. You did a diaper distribution, and I just want to pick your brain a little bit as to how you came up with that idea. Where did you get how did you put it together? Obviously, whenever you do these community type events, you rely on nonprofits, you rely on volunteers, on that community assistance. So how did you come up with the idea? How did you put it together?
Well,
And what is it?
well, our mutual friend Steven Van, he connected me with Gabriela Rojas from the Miami Diaper Bank, and she was looking for places to. They're a nonprofit that basically provides diapers to low-income young families. Because diaper need is a real need in the U.S. and Miami-Dade. Diapers are expensive, and then when you have people that are living paycheck to paycheck, they gotta pay their rent, they gotta pay all the bills, their car, food, groceries, everything, and then now you have this added expense of you have to keep buying diapers and diapers and diapers because kids,
I
have three of them. They don't stop pooping. That's what they do all day. That's their full-time job. Poop and pee, and so diapers. It adds up. They get very expensive. So I love that the Miami Diaper Bank is there. They go to these needy communities and they provide diapers out there. They just need community partners to partner with. So they connected with me, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's bring this to Sweetwater. And so we aimed at doing it quarterly in Sweetwater. They bring in their truck full of diapers, and we give away diapers to needy families. And we have people register in advance. We advertise it, let people know this is going to happen. And so a lot of families come by, and they're grateful. We have a lot of young families with babies in Sweetwater, and a lot of them are struggling. So that they get all these diapers for free really alleviates them for that month at least.
Especially with the amount of inflation, just the rise of cost of goods. Like, dude, going to the grocery store now is like, you get eggs and milk, and that's $40. Like,
yeah, a lot of politicians are doing food drives. There's plenty of food drives and food pantries. That's great, but not enough people are giving away diapers. People forget about diapers.
Yeah, there's so many other aspects to.
It's a big necessity. So I'm glad that we were able to come together and make that happen for our community.
Yeah, because I definitely think, obviously the food drives are great, but you definitely are making impact in other meaningful ways. And like I've always told you, like what I really like about you as a commissioner is that you're very focused on access. You're very focused on making sure that your constituents have the resources needed. What would you say right now is where Sweetwater is aiming to be? Like, where do you see Sweetwater in 10 years, 15 years? Obviously, the commission will look a lot different in the future, but how do you see the Sweetwater developing?
I see Sweetwater in a positive place where our our infrastructure has been upgraded. The roads are nice. The highways are nice. The parks are next level, and then the residents are happy and not struggling as much because the opportunities have been provided for them, and whatever issues were there have been
Yep.
alleviated. I see Sweetwater being in a better place in the future, with smart growth, with smart development, with us working together to continue to fulfill their the community's needs. There's that's
But now, with that development, do you see Sweetwater becoming like a new Brickell? Almost with the amount of buildings, because obviously everything's building up, right? Where do you, or do you think it's gonna maintain its like single family home aesthetic?
Yeah, I think it's going to keep its single family home aesthetic, and that's the goal. We want to keep it like that. Sweetwater is not Brickell, and we don't want it to be Brickell. Brickell is Brickell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They could keep being the financial capital of Miami-Dade.
Mhm.
That's fine. Sweetwater's identity is being a working class neighborhood, and we want to keep it that way. We just want our people to be struggling less.
Of
We want our
course.
people to be well off and doing well. Not struggling paycheck to paycheck anymore. So we don't want too much development to come in and take away everybody's homes. We don't want that happening because you can't. We as a city can't do much to regulate what the developers want to do. They're private entities. If they want to buy something, we can't say you can't buy that. That we're not
Of course.
communist Cuba that way.
Claro.
They buy it, and then they do what they're gonna do. So we don't want too much. And now with what SB, what was it? I don't remember the number. SB 102. I don't
You know damn
remember.
well I don't know the number.
Yeah, I don't know the number. But now it just makes it easier for developers to come into the city and do whatever they want without having to get permission from the city.
Really?
Yeah.
In terms of like rezoning or building or buying
Yeah,
properties, or
exactly. If they build a certain number, I believe, I could be mistaken, but if they build a certain amount of affordable units in whatever they're building, they could do whatever they want and bypass the city planning and zoning board and the city itself. And they could build whatever they want to build in any zoning district.
so it's like
So they could build residential in an industrial zone. That's what I'm saying.
but as long as there's affordable housing.
Yeah, connected to
Oh,
the
that's
city.
like the way out.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's
Yeah, because traditionally that developer would have to come in and go and get permission from the board that, hey, this is what we approve of this versus.
exactly. We, as the local government, we are the closest to our residents. The state government, they're all the way in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
They
Taking all
they
the
don't know our
sunspouses.
residents. They don't know what's going on in our town, and they don't know the structure of our town. But then they're trying to tell us what to do
Yeah.
with our town, and they just think they could put. There's different zones, and you can put certain things in different zones, but you can't put residential and industrial area. It doesn't make sense. You want someone to live next to a cement factory? That's not a good idea.
Yeah.
You know.
So, Commissioner, this is going to be on a little bit more personal note, but you are one of the few elected officials that has a special needs child, and I wanted to talk to you a bit about how has that shaped your why? How has that shaped how you see the policies for special needs children? So can you just tell us a little bit about how that is as a father, but then how that is also as an elected official?
Yeah. Yeah. My second child, Caleb,
Mm-hmm.
he has Down syndrome. Very special. That kid is just so full of love. He's so special. He's such a tremendous blessing to our family. I love him so much. Um, sorry, getting a little emotional.
No, of course,
But-
that's your son, dude.
Yeah. I just had no idea at first what a blessing would be to have a child like that.
Yeah.
So I love him. And it opened my eyes to a whole new world that I didn't really know existed. I knew there were kids out there with special needs,
Yeah.
but I always thought that's other people, that's somebody else, that's not me. I'm sure there's people out there to help them in programs.
Yeah.
But now that my world is open to this, and I see it firsthand, like, all right, these people don't get enough help from the government. There definitely needs to be more federal and state and local programs to help people with special needs. There needs to be more funding into that for sure. And so that's one of the things I want to do in my life and in my career.
Yeah.
See what ways we can. So I've met with some nonprofits that specialize in helping
Mhm.
special needs kids, and I just want to see what ways we can benefit in Sweetwater, because really it's mostly state and county that can deal with that.
Mhm.
But I'm considering even creating a special needs advisory board in the city.
Mhm.
But some of my colleagues don't like boards,
Yeah,
so
I get
that
what you're
might be
saying,
a
that the
challenge.
conflict of interest. Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll bring it up as a conversation, and we'll see if it happens. But I think it needs to happen. We definitely there's a couple nonprofits that we partner with in the city. The Brian's Art Foundation.
Mhm.
They come into the city and do events for special needs kids every once in a while. But there's a lot more out there, and I want to find them and bring them to Sweetwater and see what we
Yeah.
can do. Because and really, and if I run for something else later on, if I ever go to the state or wherever
That'll be at
wherever
the
the Lord
forefront of your
wills,
policy making.
that's always going to be at the forefront,
For
making
sure.
lives better for special needs children, for special needs people.
For sure. Thank you for sharing that with us, Commissioner. And I can tell you, people don't think of politicians as humans.
Mhm.
And I definitely think you do a very good job when speaking to your constituents of this is who I am unapologetically. I have the same issues you do. Shit, I might have more issues than you do. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm still waking up every day working on behalf of my community. So I commend you for your public service, man, and thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Not a problem. It's been awesome.
Hell
Thank
yeah.
you.
Hell yeah. Thank you.